Hello guys, welcome to sportsbookreview.com. We're about to start our championship rundown week 38. But just quickly, just want to check how everyone did. Simon, you had a pretty good week, I hear.
I did, yeah. I got a correct score. 1-1, Barnsley Ipswich, which returned at 6.5. That was really nice. A couple of good ones. Obviously, Newcastle let me down. I think they let us all down. But other than that, yeah, very good.
Yeah. And I went for the draw actually on the Ipswich game. Martin, did you go for Sheffield Wednesday? I think I remember a message from you saying Sheffield Wednesday was in your naughty corner.
I did not go for Sheffield Wednesday. No, I left Sheffield Wednesday well alone. I went Ipswich draw double chance on the Ipswich game, so it did pay out, but at shorter odds. They are really turning into the draw kings, aren't they, in the Championship?
Yeah.
It's 7 draws in a row now. It's getting a bit ludicrous.
Yeah, they sure are. Listen, let's get on. I tell you what, 12 matches to preview. I've got a tip for each and every one today, although one of them is for an accumulator bet. But still got a tip for everyone. Let's crack on. Bristol City versus Huddersfield. We are powered by Bet365. Huddersfield 2.25, Bristol 3.1, draw 3.3, third and 22nd on the table. Really, Huddersfield should win this one. What do you like in this match, Simon?
I really like the Huddersfield win here. They've won 8 out of 10 of their last games. They only lost once. That was at Newcastle. Bristol City, to me, look like a team that are going down. They've only won 1 in 6. They're in serious risk of relegation. Huddersfield win their game in hand. Then obviously they're just 3 points behind Brighton and Newcastle. They've got the 4th best away record with 9 wins. You can get the win at 2.40, which is huge. But I'm going to cover myself and go Huddersfield draw no bet, which you can still get at 1.74 with Bet Victor, and I think that's an excellent bet.
Very nice, definitely is. What about you, Martin?
Yeah, I found Huddersfield draw no bet at 1.7. So yeah, 1.74 is looking like a very good bet there. I'm going to go with that too. Although I'll probably split my stake and just go for a straight Huddersfield win at 2.45. Because I just think they can win this one. They've won half of their away games already this season. They're back to winning ways after that Newcastle game. They won 2 on the bounce. They're putting a lot of pressure on the team now. So I think we could well see a Huddersfield win here.
Yeah, I certainly like the Huddersfield win. The other bet that I quite like is the under 2.5 goals to get that 1.8. Both teams, if you look at sort of like the last 5 fixtures, they haven't been scoring much, also haven't been conceding much either. They've been low scoring games, 1.8 for the under 2.5 goals. Is that a bet you'd take, Simon?
Yes, it is, certainly. I could see this being 1-0 to Huddersfield, maybe 2-0, but yeah, certainly. I do like the look of that.
1.8 for the under. Fantastic stuff. Okay, Sheffield Wednesday versus Reading. Sheffield 1.8, draw 3.7, Reading 5. Close here, must win for both. Both want those points. This is a tough one. Really, Sheffield should win this one. They are stronger at home than Reading on the road. Martin, what do you like?
Yeah, this is the one game I don't really fancy. We've got 2 teams that can't really split them in the league. Reading are only 2 points ahead of Sheffield Wednesday, and Wednesday aren't in good form, taking 1 point from their last 2 games, and very, very firmly in my naughty corner at the moment. So my lean in this would be under 2.5 goals. I think that looks a relatively good price at 1.82. Reading are pretty good in defence. They keep a pretty tight ship at the back, so that would be my my lean. But yeah, I'm holding the outrights here.
Yeah, all right. What about you, Simon? Are you playing the outrights?
I certainly am. Every time I play on the home side against Reading, if they're in the top 10, it always wins, because Reading, all their wins away from home have come against teams in the bottom half of the league. You know, they've lost 50% of their away games. Wednesday are unbeaten in 9 out of 10 at home. Short against teams, you know, in the top 10. I think that Wednesday have got the firepower, and I'm backing the home win at 1.82.
Yeah, I like the home win as well. It has a small stake, though, just for their unpredictability. Obviously, they lost to Aston Villa. I was very surprised to see that they didn't even score. So it's a small stake for me on the Sheffield Wednesday. They should win this on paper. They should win this. But they say football is unscripted. Definitely not one of my most confident bets. but definitely the lean and a small stake on Sheffield Wednesday. Blackburn versus Preston. Blackburn 2.55, Preston 2.88, and the draw 3.3. Blackburn definitely seem to be sort of rising above. They've got their new manager and they seem to be playing better. Still is a must-win for them because they're not quite, they still need to get away from that relegation zone. But they also had so they've got the advantage of playing at home, but they've got the disadvantage that they had a midweek match to which they drew 2-2 to Fulham. So undecided really on the outright, and I think I'm going to skip. Simon, what do you think?
Decided on the outright, so I am leaning towards Blackburn purely because Preston have only won 5 away, and I think that's probably going to be their undoing. That's probably going to be the reason why they don't make the playoffs. Derby, and funnily enough, this is only the 3rd time they've actually met. They've been in the same league since the 60s, and if you look at the head-to-heads over the last 5 games, both teams to score an over. So I really like both teams to score an over, and you get that 2.50. But I'm going to go for a heavier stake on both teams to score at 1.83. I think that looks really good.
Yeah, read my mind there, Simon. Love this bet. Both teams to score 1.85. Both Blackburn and Preston have scored 7 goals each in the last 5 games. Definitely expecting both teams to score. I like that bet a lot. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw a 1-1 draw, but both teams to score it is for me. Martin, what do you like?
Yeah, I like both teams to score in this one. Neither particularly good at the back, pretty leaky defences. Kind of leaning towards a draw as well. Would fancy a small stake on the draw. I think you can get slightly better than 2-1 at that. I think you can get about 3.1 or something, which looks
3.3, not bad at all.
Yeah, so that looks an interesting bet to me. I can't really split these two at the moment, so when in doubt, go for the draw.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you there. Nottingham versus Derby. Derby 2.3, Nottingham 3.1, draw 3.3. Both teams are fairly poorly. Both just 1 win in the last 5 played. I don't like it when both teams are faring poorly. I think it leads to an unpredictable game. But one thing, though, that you can say about Nottingham is they are scoring and they are at home. Now, this is my accumulator bet. Nottingham to score over 0.5 goals, 1.45. That's for a parlay bet. For anybody who'd like to sort of like bump up an accumulator. They generally score. Like if you look at their past 5 head-to-heads, they are scoring at home. They've scored 32 this season at home. And for them to just score 1 single goal, I thought that was a really good bet. What do you think of that bet, Simon? The odds are low, but have you been able to find anything else?
I'm not sure if I like it. And the reason for that is Derby have just obviously sacked their manager this week. They've brought in Gary Rowett. So you've got kind of new manager syndrome going on. At the same time, this is a huge East Midlands derby. 2 clubs that just don't get on at all. Forest in a relegation battle, fighting for their lives. Derby in terrible form. I mean, Forest, how can you beat Brighton 3-0 and then 3 days later lose to Brentford at home? They're so unpredictable. So for me, I'm going to skip this game. I don't like it at all.
Skip for you. What about you, Martin?
I've got a fun fact for you. This is the 5th game in a row between these 2 East Midlands derby rivals that has seen both teams have a new manager. How ridiculous is that? Both change their manager at least twice a year, and sometimes they've had managers that haven't even got to play a single derby because they get sacked so quickly. They go through a manager about every 3 months, these teams. They're
not very good at picking them.
Well, no, and they're up there with Leicester, who have just sacked Ranieri after winning the Premiership last season. They're very knee-jerk reactions in the East Midlands at the moment. So for that reason, I'm out. I'm not really liking this game. Two sort of unpredictable teams. Although, again, I would be leaning towards the draw, but I'd only put a small, maybe a half a stake on that. You can get about 3.4 on the draw, and I think that would suit both of these teams because then no fans would be too upset.
Yeah. Well, again, it sounds like not one of our most confident games, but we have 12 to go for something that we do feel really confident about. Birmingham versus Newcastle. Newcastle 1.7 5, draw 3.8. Birmingham 5, 17th and 1st. Newcastle, this is a must-win for Newcastle. Now equal points with second place. They've got to win this. They are a strong road team, and they will obviously want to bounce back as well on Saturday when they lost to Fulham. I'm just going to take the straight Newcastle win, to be honest with you. What do you like, Martin?
Oh yeah, very much so. Very much like the straight Newcastle win in this one. No, they haven't done well of late. They've only picked up 1 point from their last 2 games, but they're a team that seems to do pretty well when the pressure's on. Now that Brighton have got back level on points with them, I think they really need to get back to winning ways.
Yeah.
Huddersfield are hot on their heels as well. So they are still the league's best away team. They've won 13 out of 19 on the road. And they should be far too strong for what is a very, very poor Birmingham team on a terrible run, slipped down to 17th. So Newcastle 1.79, that looks like my favourite bet of this round of fixtures.
Interesting. Okay, Simon, making this a full house?
Yeah, I say begrudgingly because they're in the what I call the naughty corner. I've prepared that one for you. I don't know if you can see that. Basically, I just think they're feeling.
You have to lift it up. I saw it.
See it.
Wait.
that is pretty technical stuff there.
Real technical stuff. At the moment,
very technical.
I'm beginning to really. At the moment, I think they're just feeling the pressure. I don't think that they thought they'd be in a 3-horse race at this time of the season. Huddersfield and Brighton obviously putting on a lot of pressure, and sometimes I really kind of question Benitez as well, some of his tactics. Look at the opponents here. Birmingham lost 4 out of 5 at home. I think it's a record-breaking 14th away win, and I think at those odds, yeah, you've got to go for the away win. But I'm saying that really begrudgingly because I really don't like Newcastle at the moment.
All right, they said somebody commented says graphics department working overtime there. Yeah, and then somebody Itrat Yahan, that's a shout out to you. Hello. Okay, Burton versus Brentford. Brentford 2.65, Burton 2.7, draw 3.4. I really think that this is really a match where it is quite hard to divide them, but I am going to go for. I'm leaning towards Burton. They ended their 4-draw streak. I think they'll be confident. They've got the home advantage, and I definitely think that, you know, if this is going to go either way, it's going to go to Burton. But I'm backing myself up here. I'm going to go Burton draw no bet, 1.91. What do you like here, Martin?
I think I've analysed this game very similarly to you, and I'm going to go Burton draw double chance, which is poorer odds. It's only 1.5, but I still like it. I think Burton can get a result here. They're unbeaten in their last 6, and they've surged out of the relegation zone under Clough. They're doing very well. Brentford are a bit of a dodgy team. They can be dangerous, but they have lost their last couple. So I just think Burton draw double chance. One of them's got to come in. 1.5.
Yeah. I just wasn't very confident with Brentford coming from a loss to Wolves. You know, like Wolverhampton seemed to be not the hardest team to beat. And with Brentford coming from a loss there, heading now to Burton, I think Burton has got the edge. Simon, somebody's congratulating you on your better signal today. What are you going to go for?
About Wolves, you know, I think that Wolves are better away. I didn't find that too much of a surprise last night. What I will say about Brentford, I think they're undefeated in the last 3 away. I've won more money on these 2 teams than I have any other team recently. They always seem to score. Brentford have scored 12 out of 13. I don't see Burton losing, so the logical bet for me here is both teams to score.
Okay, I can see that. No, I like that one a lot. Okay, so you're going for both teams to score. What about our Burton draw no bet?
Yeah, that's worked for me the last 2 weeks. I did them draw no bet at Bristol City, that came in, and I did them double chance, I think, last week, and that came in. Too unpredictable. I just prefer both teams to score in this one.
All right, both teams to score it is. Cardiff versus Ipswich. We've got Cardiff 1.91, draw 3.5, and Ipswich 4.5, 13th and 16th on the table, respectively. Low scoring when these two teams meet. Last three head-to-heads have ended under 2.5 goals, and their recent matches have gone under as well. If you look at the games that both have played, I think I'm following trend here. Under 2.5 goals, 1.68. Just enough value there for me to take that bet. Martin, do you think this is going to be a low scorer?
Yeah, I think it could be a low scorer. I think it has to go for the draw here. You have to go for the draw. Ipswich have drawn their last 7 games in a row, I think it is now. It's getting ludicrous. They're just the draw specialists of the league. Doesn't matter who they play. If they play a good team, they draw. If they play a poor team, they draw. They just seem to sort of do just about enough to scrape a point in every game. So I'm going to have to keep backing them to draw until they fail. So 3.5, 3.55, that looks good.
Yeah, and do you know what as well? 2 of their last 3 head-to-head have ended in a draw. So that was one of my bets as well that I was looking at. Simon, what do you like in this match?
Yeah, I mean, just to add fuel to the fire, I think Cardiff have drawn their last 2 at home as well. So obviously this is going to be 3-0 to Ipswich. You know, Neil Warnock's rebuilding for next season. Both these teams are they're both safe. They're not going up. It's a bit of a dead rubber. The score, actually, I think Cardiff usually score. Again, Ipswich don't lose. So for me, both teams to score all day.
Yeah, I was put off. Like, I took both teams to score a bit last week, and that let me down. There wasn't that much matches actually that we saw both teams scoring. We saw a lot of unders as well last week. Okay, so you're going for both teams to score. Fulham versus Wolves. Fulham 1.7, draw 4, Wolves 5. Fulham in good shape. They haven't lost a match in 8, 5 wins, 3 draws, and they are heavy scorers on the road. There's a few bets that I like in this match. I like the Fulham win, 1.7, and I like Fulham and the over 1.5 goals, 2.1 there. 2 bets for me for this match. Going to start with you, Martin.
Yeah, this is an interesting match. Simon mentioned earlier that Wolves are good on the road, and they really are. They have the league's 7th best away record, which is remarkable when you consider that they've been battling relegation all season. Won their last 2 games in a row, so they are a bit dangerous now. When teams are fighting for their life at this stage of the season, they can start picking up points. Draw will probably look good here to some people. You can get 4.1 on that. But I just have a hunch that Fulham are going to win this. They're a far better team than Wolves. And 1.7 on a Fulham win does look interesting to me. But my favourite bet here is over 2.5 goals. When these two met earlier in the season, they drew 4-4. It was a really high scoring game. It was probably the best Championship game I've seen all season. So I'd be hoping for another similar type of game, very open. These two are involved in a lot of high scoring games. So over 2.5 goals, 1.75.
Yeah, and don't forget as well, the two teams that Wolves come from wins is Rotherham, which I think, you know, me and some work buddies could beat, and then 14th place Brentford. So I don't know. I still think Fulham have got enough in them to beat Wolves. I'm still undecided really on Wolves. What do you think, Simon? Can we put together a team and beat Rotherham? Do you think we could do it?
I think we could, yeah, just the 3 of us. Yeah, with a scrambled goalkeeper, we could do that all day long, no problem. I think for this bet, I'm not underrating Wolves at all. I think Fulham are flying. They are the form team.
Yeah.
They're better away from home, and we saw that in midweek yesterday, that they drew 2-2 at home to Blackburn. Score more than 1 goal a lot. I think the last 7 of 8. But the trend for Fulham at home this season is both teams to score in over 2.5. So I'm just going to follow that and get that just above evens. So that's what I'm going to go for.
All right, both teams scoring the over 2.5 goals. We're all in agreement here for the overs here. And looking as well, Fulham 37 all season. They've scored at home quite a lot and conceded 26. Wolves 23 on the road, 21 conceded. So I agree with you. Goals and from both sides. Also want to give a shout out to Big Man. He's just joined. So nice to have you watching. We are previewing the championships. It's the second division here of the English leagues. Norwich versus Barnsley. Norwich 1.62, draw 4.2, and Barnsley 6th, 9th, and 11th. Short price really for Norwich, I think, especially as both teams faring poorly, with Barnsley winning the reverse 2-1. I wouldn't play the Norwich price at 1.62, even if they do have 11 wins. It's just based on their form right now. I think it's too low. Simon, do you have a thought on the outrights?
Not really. This is another one where they've recently sacked their manager, Norwich. And I don't think they've got anyone in place at the moment. So you've got that kind of new manager, kind of caretaker manager syndrome going on. We know that Barnsley are a tough team to beat. They've only won 1 in 6, but they're very unpredictable. There's no value at all in the Norwich win, even the over 2.5. The best value that I could find is Barnsley plus 1.5 at 1.525. But again, that's a bit low. So I'm going to skip that game.
Yeah, you know, that's exactly the way that I was heading. And I said that I had no skips, but this one is a skip. But that's exactly what I was looking at, giving Barnsley that plus. I think that Barnsley can get something out of this. And I think that's a I think it's certainly going to be closer than the odds suggest. But yes, a skip for me. What about you, Martin?
I'm going to throw a bit of a spanner in the works here, and I'm actually going to go for the Norwich win. Simply because they've just sacked their manager, and I just think that often really galvanises teams. You've seen what's happened at Leicester since they got rid of Ranieri. They just can't stop winning. They knocked Champions League midweek, won their last 2 league games 3-1, beat Liverpool. So I think we could see a similar sort of case here. The players start knowing they have to fight for their future. Some fresh ideas get bandied about. I just think it could translate into a win. It's well overdue for Norwich. They are a good side. Barnsley don't travel particularly well, so it's the perfect opportunity for them to get their season back on track. So I'm going to go for a Norwich win.
Norwich win, 1.62. Interesting. I thought that was way too low, but that's good price for Martin. All right, he's going for that one. What are we going for now? Here we go. QPR versus Rotherham. Oh, actually, the bet that I was looking at for that match, was a score draw. I was also wondering whether it'd be like a score draw, hence giving Barnsley that 1.5. But kind of like both teams to score 1.6. Both have scored and both have conceded in their last 5 matches. So that was one of the bets that I was looking at. But all in all, I think it is a skip for me. QPR versus Rotherham. QPR 1.5, draw 4.6, and Rotherham 8. Quite surprised actually that Wolves. I'm gonna say, what was I going to say? Yeah, QPR generally score. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for QPR -1 on this match. I'm a little bit worried that it is going to be like another low scorer. Rotherham's result to Wolves 1-0. This could be another low scorer, but Rotherham are just horrendous on the road. No wins, 1 draw. I think it's like 18 losses. It's incredible. Yeah, 18 losses, just 12 scored. So QPR -1, 1.79 is my bet. What do you like here, Martin?
I'm just going QPR 1.5 all day long. They're finally playing like a team again under Ian Holloway. I've really been impressed with them of late. They did very, very well to come away with a point from Elland Road last time out. And like we say, us three, me, you and Simon, could probably beat Rotherham at this point. They just can't stop losing. I just think, yeah, you could probably push it to -1. That does look a good bet, actually. But for me, QPR 1.5, just lump on it. Yeah, that's got to be the first selection in any accumulator, any parlay type bets you're doing. So, yeah. QPR here.
Yeah, all right. What about you, Simon? Do you think 1.5 is a good price for QPR? Are you going to stick it in an accumulator?
It's good for an accumulator. It's hard not to back them. Rotherham are just awful. It's whether for me they can cover the handicap. I'm looking at the -1 QPR. They do like a 2-1 win, but we're talking about Rotherham concede more than 1 goal away from home.
Yeah.
scored, in 7 out of away. So I'm going to go for QPR -1 on the Asian there.
Yeah, 53 goals they have conceded there. Pretty remarkable going. That's why I think we would be able to score. But anyway, yeah, QPR -1. Wigan versus Aston Villa. Aston Villa 2.5, Wigan 3.2, and the draw 3.25. Aston Villa certainly are performing better under new manager. They come from that 2-0 Sheffield Wednesday win on Saturday. I think that they, the question is they seem to be more confident at home than they are on the road yet. Should we play that straight Aston Villa win? Is it time for us to back Aston Villa to win on the road, or best to leave it for a little while? Martin, what are you thinking?
I think that's a fantastic price on Aston Villa. They've been such greatly improved since the turn of the year. They're really going on a fine run of form. Won 4 of their last 5 games. They're 14 points above Wigan. This isn't really good enough for Aston Villa. They should really be pushing for the top of the table at this time of season. But it was always going to be quite a big rebuilding job there after their horrendous showing in the Premiership last time out. But yeah, I think they're far too good for Wigan. And that does look like a fantastic price, 2.64 on the Aston Villa win. Yeah, I'm going for that.
Interesting. And then also we've got Vitalis asking, would QPR be the play of the day? I think it's great for an accumulator. At the end of the show, we will ask for like our best bet or our nap or whatever you'd like to call it. So we'll ask for that. But it's probably the best accumulator bet. There's probably another one with higher odds that could be like the play of the day. What do you like in this match, Simon?
Not a lot, really. One thing that we haven't mentioned is that Wigan sacked Warren Joyce, their manager, this week. They've not got a new man in yet, but they are hoping to have a new manager for Saturday. So you've kind of got that new manager syndrome again. I know they're in big trouble, but this is a gamble they have to take. Villa are generally a lot stronger at home. They're not that great away. I mean, maybe Villa draw no bet, but because of the new manager syndrome, I'm going to skip that one.
Okay. One thing I'm sort of looking at is really Wigan, sort of a side hit or miss. They've scored just twice recently, and I think that the unders could be the way to go here, but it's like super low. You can get that for under 2.5 goals is 1.5, and maybe another one for an accumulator bet, or you can play on the Asian handicap the under 2 goals. If we see 2 goals, you get your money back. If we see 1 goal, then your bet comes in, and that's 1.81. I think this definitely has got unders to me. I'm not even sure whether Wigan can score. What do you think, Simon, up for the total scores?
Yeah, I think I did look at the unders. Definitely, Wigan tend to, usually 1-0, 0-0. But again, Villa, they might just turn up. Who knows what's going to happen? I would lean towards unders, but I am going to skip that game. I just don't like the new manager kind of thing going on there.
All right, a skip. Leeds versus. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying that's a good bet, Natalie. All of Aston Villa's last 6 games have seen under 2.5 goals, and so have 5 of Wigan's last 6. So that is a good bet, yeah.
Yeah, you would stick that with your QPR bet there, bump up your accumulator bet.
Good one.
Yeah. Okay. Leeds versus Brighton. Pretty good match. Brighton. Well, it's must win for both. Must win for Brighton. Equal points with first place at Newcastle, 77 points. But also for Leeds in 4th. You got 2 teams fighting for those much needed points. This unfortunately is a no bet. We've got Brighton 2.3, so they are the favourites on the road. Leeds 3.25, draw 3.3. Leeds are, if you look at sort of the home and away win record, Leeds are stronger at home with 12 wins than Brighton's 9 on the road. But Leeds have won 2 of their last 5, but drawn 3. This is a really, really tough match. I really hope you guys do have bets for this match, or unless you're passing like me. What are you going for, Simon?
I've been thinking about this one a lot. It's really, really hard to call. The bookies' odds, and they're really favouring Brighton for this one. And I think the reason for that is that Brighton won the reverse, but they've also won their last 2 at Ellen Road as well. Split them, but I do like Leeds double chance at 1.7. I think they've kept clean sheets in 8 out of 10 at home. And in 9 out of 10 at home as well. I know Brighton are generally good on the road, but I think Leeds are looking very solid at the moment. So Leeds double chance for me at 1.7.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Okay, Martin, what do you like?
Yeah, I don't really like this one either. Leeds are unbeaten in a long time, but Brighton are really on a roll now. They won their last two, and they're joint top of the table with Newcastle. I think the odds on Brighton look very interesting at 2.45. I think they can go to Ellen Road and put in a better performance than QPR did. So on that reckoning, they could well win it. So Brighton at 2.45 is a lean, but not one of my official tips for this one.
Okay, all right, there we go. Interesting match, though. I wonder if Brighton will win and overtake to take first place, or whether the order will remain the same after the weekend. Obviously, we'll wait and see. Okay, best part of the show. You've got to do your nap or your banker, and then your 2-team parlay or accumulator bet. Going to start with you, Simon.
Wins Sheffield Wednesday and QPR as a double. And my banker is Huddersfield draw no bet. That's my banker.
Ooh, all right. Huddersfield draw no bet. What are you going for, Martin?
I'm going to go for Newcastle as my banker. And because we've all said what a great idea it is to put QPR in the accumulator for my 2-team parlay, I'm going to go for Newcastle and QPR.
Newcastle and QPR. Okay, I don't know who to put in my second team parlay. I'm going to go for, definitely love this bet, both teams to score, Blackburn versus Preston. That's definitely my favourite bet, 1.85. And then for my, it's going to put QPR, obviously, just because 1.5, why not? And although the thing is, if QPR loses, then we all lose our accumulator bet. But I'm very confident. So I'm going to go QPR, and then I'm going to go for... I might go for Fulham. Fulham at home. I just have no confidence in Wolves. So Fulham 1.7 and QPR 1.5. Okay, there you have it. That's the end of the show. We've done the rundown there. Week 38. Stay tuned. We'll be back same time next week for week 39. And then also tomorrow as well, we've got our best bet show, 11:15 Costa Rica time. So make sure you catch that. We've actually got Simon as well, who will be on the show, making a little cameo and saying hello, giving us other bets as well. So it'll be good to see what else he's got up his sleeve. So thanks for watching, everybody. Best of luck with your tips, and I'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys.